Ron DeSantis finally taking a line of attack against Trump that I've been saying he should be doing he should have been doing for a long time now. And if he had been doing it for a long time, instead of doing this weird crusade against wokeism and the woke left and the woke mob and woke, everything's woke. Anything that's against DeSantis is woke. I've always thought if you're a candidate in the GOP right now, you have to go through Trump. There's no sidestepping him. There's no, I'm going to talk about issues around Trump. And no, Trump, the Republican Party is Trump's party. And if you are to chip away at his support, you better go at him. You better go at him hard, and you better go at him consistently. So we're going to listen to Ron DeSantis on Fox News here, saying a line of attack against Trump that I think is something that would lead to Ron DeSantis being a more successful candidate if he would just stick with this strategy rather than whatever the hell he does on a daily basis. God knows what. But here we go.
Directly at Trump, insult for insult, calling him a coward and so forth. And then the rest of you just dance around for fear of offending him or his supporters. Does he have a point?
I don't do insults, so that is true. I think just getting in this insult game turns voters off. It's not something I want to do. Substantively, we've been very frank at our differences with respect to the former president. I mean, for example, he promised to drain the swamp. It got worse. He did not drain the swamp. He promised to have Mexico pay for a border wall. They did like 50 miles of wall. There's massive expansive still there. He said he was going to eliminate the national debt. They added almost $8 trillion to the debt in 4 years. And of course, in 2020, he turned the country over to Dr. Fauci, and those lockdowns and the borrowing and printing really sent us on a bad course. I've been very, very frank at that, but I have no interest in attacking Donald Trump or any of these other candidates personally. I think we've got to rise above that, and let's focus on the issues.
You were once allies. I've got about half a minute, Governor. Did you let Trump define you by waiting too long to respond to his attacks when you were being governor and you weren't officially in the race?
Not at all. I think even some of these polls, if you're going to take them for what they're worth, they say I have the highest favorability amongst Republican voters. And so I think they made a big mistake by spending all that money against me. I don't think it had its intended effect. And, you know, we have a PAC. I can't control it, but I imagine they're going to start lighting up the airwaves pretty soon with a lot of good stuff about me. And that's going to give us a great lift. So we look forward to that.
A few things here. So, firstly, why not be why not be shouting that line of attack every interview? Just say that. Every interview, every speech, everywhere you go. That's what Ron DeSantis should be saying every single time he opens his ugly mug to talk. Dude, you'd be doing way better. You'd be doing way better. Because there might even be some Trump voters that you pierce through the veil of their delusion and of their cult mindset. You might even be pulling a few Trump voters on over with this sort of line of attack, but it's not enough to bring it up once in every 3 months or whatever, and say, oh, that's good enough. So I don't get DeSantis saying, oh, well, we do constantly say this. We do. No, you don't, dude. You're constantly talking about Disney. You're constantly talking about LGBTQ people. You're constantly talking about the woke military. You're constantly talking about, I mean, just the most nonsensical, non-issue things that you could think of. Ron DeSantis has based his campaign around that, instead of pitching himself as the better candidate compared to Trump, which is very confusing. And DeSantis mentions that his favorability is high in the polls, if you believe those or whatever. But what have we heard DeSantis say to rebuke not rebuke, that's not a word, to rebuke criticism of his lagging poll numbers and of his seemingly imploding campaign is that, oh, well, you can't trust the polls. You can't trust the polls. The polls are nonsense. One poll says this, one poll says that. I mean, he's been totally dismissive of every piece of data up until this point that's saying, hey, dude, you're not doing the best at this. But now suddenly we're suddenly supposed to listen to the polls now because they say that he has a high favorability. Which is it, DeSantis? Do the polls not matter, or do they matter because they say you have a high favorability? I'm not sure about that. A couple more things here. We got DeSantis shedding staff amid heavy spending. New York Times, Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida has started cutting campaign staff just months into his presidential bid and has struggled to gain traction in the Republican primary. The exact number of people let go by DeSantis' team was unclear, but one campaign aide said it was fewer than 10. So 10 people, at least 10 people being cut potentially from Ron DeSantis' staff. Doesn't necessarily mean that the sky is falling, but we're already starting to see signs of nervousness from within the DeSantis campaign at the fact that our strategy isn't really working, and our strategy is not helping us defeat Trump, and it's also not consolidating anti-Trump support. So we need to try something different, and this includes cutting staff. This also includes going on an interview with CNN's Jake Tapper for months and months and years, really, of DeSantis being totally, totally unwilling to interface whatsoever with any mainstream media that is not seeking to just blow sunshine up his booty. Okay? And Fox News, that's all they've done. And it's only been recently that Fox News has started to give him some pushback about his lagging poll numbers. But what do we see now? We see DeSantis cutting campaign staff and recognizing, oh shit, this is not going good. I need to reach out to some different voters that aren't all caught up in my battle against wokeism, because a lot of people don't care about wokeism. And yeah, it's evidenced by, July 18th, this July 18th interview where, he's finally realizing, I have to go out there and I have to talk with people that disagree with me, and I have to have contentious conversations in which I'm going to be challenged. And it's like, dude, where have you been, DeSantis? Where have you been? It's just absolutely astounding. If DeSantis had been criticizing Trump like we heard in that clip, consistently, constantly, every damn day for however long he's been, running at least, or thinking that he's going to run. And if he had been going out and reaching out to CNN and MSNBC and non-crazy news sites, I guess CNN, I'm not sure if you can call that non-crazy because they had a Trump town hall, but yeah, just really, really strange. Strange strategy from DeSantis's campaign. And I think when DeSantis's campaign is relinquished to the dustbins of history, I think that political scholars are going to look back in time and look at his campaign of, this is how you do not run against a incumbent candidate who has all their name recognition in the world and has all the popularity in any party. This is not how you run a campaign. It's just not. It's just not how you do it. We'll see how much longer DeSantis can hold on here. But yeah, not looking too good for DeSantis. And I think that's why we're seeing a little bit of switching up of his strategy here a bit.